Most people think mastering a skill fast requires obsession with only one thing. Leonardo da Vinci did the opposite. He mastered painting, anatomy, engineering, and architecture all at once, not because he was a genius, but because he used a different learning system, a system hidden in thousands of pages of his notebooks. And once you understand how it works, you'll rapidly master any skill without isolating yourself from the other ones. Here are the 4 pillars of his method. 1. Obsessive observation. Most people take the safe path. They start with tutorials, they read theory, they look for explanations. But Da Vinci started with reality. He watched birds fly before designing flying machines. He observed water flow instead of memorizing physics formulas. At this stage, the point is not to understand everything. The point is to get comfortable with many questions being raised in your head. So observe proven results first. If you know nothing about chess, watch master games before learning theory. Watch how the pieces move, notice patterns, study their body language. This builds raw pattern recognition, and that's much faster than blindly following tutorials, and you'll see why in the next pillar. 2. Obsessive questions. Most people think taking more notes means learning faster, but that usually makes things messy and slow. That's why Da Vinci's notebooks were not summaries, they were question factories. He wrote things like, why does water spiral? Why does shadow soften with distance? He believed knowledge is born from questioning. Those questions come from the previous observation phase, and answering them is your roadmap. They show you what actually matters. They show you what to ignore. That alone saves tons of time and energy. So grab a pen and paper and write 20 to 30 questions about the skill. Then study only to answer those questions. Nothing less, nothing more. Now you're not consuming randomly. You're hunting for clarity. And that leads to the next pillar. 3. Thinking through creation. Most people wait until they feel ready to test their knowledge, but for Da Vinci, that's just bullshit. Being ready is a myth, and believing in it will only slow down your process towards mastery. That's why he tested his knowledge publicly, even if it meant failure. This is the step where you should spend 80% of your time on, because you don't learn and then create, you create to learn. Creation forces your brain to think harder. Passive consumption doesn't. It exposes your gaps instantly. You gain more from a failed attempt than from rereading a page 10 times. So after answering your questions, create something. Teach it to someone. Build an ugly first version. Write a bad essay on purpose. Write messy code. And refine them later. This is the fastest way to mastery because creation kills hesitation, and hesitation kills speed. 4. Analogous learning. If you want to master many skills like a polymath, this should be your superpower. You see, most people improve at one skill and stop there. They isolate it. But Da Vinci didn't. Whenever he improved at one skill, he constantly asked, where else does this pattern exist? That's how he realized that the flow of water in a river followed the same patterns as the flow of blood in a human heart. Different fields, same pattern. That's how he connected art, science, and engineering. Now, this rule does 2 things. First, it helps you remember what you learned, but more importantly, it opens doors for new skills. And here's how you apply it. Take your new skill and compare it to something unrelated. Write about 10 analogies between them. For example, improving a golf swing might be like cracking a whip. Boxing might be like a musical rhythm. The more connections you build, the stronger your understanding becomes. That's how creativity grows. That's how polymaths think. There you have it. Observe, question, create, connect. Repeat the cycle, and you'll improve faster than people who rely on traditional learning.